Hi everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to seamlessly add in-app messaging to your React applications using the Stream Chat React SDK. This video is based on the React tutorial in the Stream website, and I'll be leaving a link to that in the video description for you to check out. In this video tutorial, I'll be showing you three things. Firstly, I'll be showing you how to create a Stream application and how to connect a user to that application. Secondly, I'll be showing you how to use the pre-built components from the React SDK to build a chat application with many features with few lines of code. And thirdly, I'll be showing you how to build your own custom component if you are not satisfied with Stream's design. Before I go into the tutorial part of this video, I want to explain two required packages for our application. The first package is Stream Chat, and this library provides access to the low-level client, and I'll be using this library to create our chat instance and also for connecting our user to Stream. And the second package is Stream Chat React, and this provides access to the pre-built UI component and application context. We'll be using Stream Chat React for the most part of this tutorial. Please check out the Stream documentation and the GitHub repository for more information about the packages and also useful resources. Now that we have all of that out of the way, let's jump to the tutorial part of this video. First, you have to ensure that you have a Stream account if you don't have one already. Then you can create an application, and I'll be calling this React Stream Chat app. You can use whatever name you want. And then I choose a feeds location, a data storage location, and I can create the application. Next thing would be to build your React application, and using create React app, I'm going to create a boilerplate React application with the following command: npx create React app and React Stream Chat app. And when all the dependencies are installed, I'm going to change my directory to the project folder, and then I'm going to install the two dependencies that I need for the React SDK to work, which is the Stream Chat and the Stream Chat React. And after that is installed, then I can open the application in my code editor. In app.js, I'm going to delete everything I currently have. Then I'll import some packages. The first one is React and some hooks from the React library. And then I'll import Stream Chat from Stream Chat library. The Stream Chat, as I mentioned earlier, is a low-level client library which allows us to create chat instance and also connect our users to Stream. I'm going to import some pre-built components from the Stream Chat React library. The first one is the chat component, and this does not do any UI. It just provides general data about the chat application for other components to use. The second one is the channel component, and this does not do any UI, but it provides data about the active channel for other components like the header to use. We have the window component, which is a container utility. It has some classes that ensure responsiveness and width changes in the viewport. The channel header, which shows basic information about the active channel. The message list component, which shows a list of messages in the currently active channel, and each message has message actions like reply, threads, and message reactions. Then the message input component, which allows us to send messages. The thread component, which manages threads, and the loading indicator, which shows a loading animation, and we can use this while our chat is still loading. And lastly, I'll import the style sheet for the components. To connect this React application to our Stream application, I'm going to need the API key, and we can get this API key from the dashboard here. And I'm going to store this key in an M file with the environment variable React app stream API key. And of course, environment variables in React has to be prefixed with React app. And back in app.js, I'm going to access this environment variable and store it in the API key constant. API keys are unique for every Stream application, and they are required for your clients to connect to your Stream application. Although you can make your API keys public, there are a few reasons why you would want to store it as an environment variable. Firstly, API keys can be easily changed, and you wouldn't want changes to your API key to alter your commit history or to alter your source code. You would want to store it somewhere where you can just easily replace it with a new key. And the second reason why you want to store it as an environment variable is, although the API key is limited in the number of things it can do in your chat application, for example, with the API key, you can create channels without the secret key. You would want to store your API key somewhere that is less visible so that somebody doesn't just take your API key and then litters your application with a lot of irrelevant channels. For the user that will want to connect to Stream, ideally this user will be coming from a database through a backend server, but for demo purposes, I'm just going to hard code this here. Now let's connect the user to Stream and create a messaging channel. So export default function app, and in our app components, I'm going to keep track of two states, which is the client and the channel state. And the component mount, that is when I want to connect the user and create the channel. So I'm going to use effect with an empty dependency array, and I'm going to create this asynchronous init function because connecting the user is asynchronous, and I'm going to execute the init function here. To connect the user, we need to create a chat instance using the API key. Then we'll call the connect user method on the instance, which accepts two arguments: the user object with a required ID property and the user token. Stream uses the user token to verify that a user has authorized access to your Stream application. This token should ideally come from your backend server using our backend SDK, as it requires your secret key to generate and you don't want to expose your secret key on your client. For tutorial purposes, we create development tokens. To use development tokens, we first need to go to the Stream dashboard and disable authentication checks. And you also have to confirm that the application is in development for this to work. If it's in production, development tokens will not work. For the token argument, I'm going to call the dev token method of the chat instance, and this is used for creating development tokens. Now that we have connected the user, we also need to create a channel for the user to send messages to. To create a channel, we'll use the channel method on the chat instance, and this channel method accepts few properties, the first one being the type of channel we are creating. This can be live stream, messaging, team, commerce, or some custom type that you have created on your dashboard. After specifying the type of channel, which in our case is messaging, we specify a channel ID. I'm going to use React Talk for the ID of this channel. And lastly, we pass an object which has more information about the channel, and you can provide an image link, you can provide a name, you can provide members at the point of creating the channel, which in our case here is just the currently logged in user. You can also pass other custom properties like description, tags, whatever you want. And after doing this, we're going to call the watch method on the channel, and watching the channel creates the channel if the channel doesn't exist already, and then it also listens to the channel for events like new members. And before closing the use effect hook, we'll update the client and channel state. And we are also going to clean up the user connection. After the use effect hook, we're going to show the loading indicator if the channel or the client is null, which means our chat is still loading. And if this isn't null, then we are going to show the chat application, and this is where we finally use the pre-built component. It's worth noting that the React SDK heavily works on React context, which means one component can serve as a provider, and then it provides data from the context to the children component. And the reason why this is important is because the order in which you arrange the React component matters. So if you want component B to get data from component A, then component A has to be the parent and component B the child. The first component we're using is the chat component, which, as I mentioned earlier, provides general context data about our chat application to other components. And this component needs the client prop, and it also has an optional team prop. And I'll be using messaging light. There's also messaging dark, and there are several team names for other types of channels. I have the channel component, which has the channel prop, the window component, and inside the window component I have a channel header, the message list, and the message input. And just after the window component we have the thread component. And as you can see, the order of these has to be correct because the channel component needs data from the chat component, and also since threads, header, messages, and the input are for an active channel, they have to be inside the channel component, which, as I mentioned earlier, provides data about the currently active channel. Putting all of this together and starting our server, we can see our live chat application on localhost 3000 with only a few lines of code. And there is a loading indicator briefly at the beginning. And on the application, we can see the header with information about our application. And the message list is currently empty as there are no messages. So let's send our first message. And using the input component, I can send hi everyone. And now the message list is populated. And out of the box with this preview component, we have URL previews, as you can see in this example. There is the emoji picker. We can pick an emoji and send. There are also threads, so you can create a thread and the thread component handles the thread for that particular message. And you can also reply a message directly. There is also message reactions and so much more. There's one thing missing in our application so far. In applications like Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram, you would usually have a list of channels of which you can select an active channel at a time. Well, Stream also has a component for that. For this, we need the channel list component, and I'm going to import that here, and I'm also going to use it here. Now, after placing it here, I'm going to remove the channel prop from the channel component. The channel list component internally queries all the channels we have on the Stream application, and it sets the active channel. And the channel component automatically makes use of that active channel. That's why we don't need to add that prop ourselves anymore. Now, going back to the browser, we have a list of channels by the left and the channel information by the right. The channel list component also accepts a few props, some of which are filters and sort. And as the name implies, this allows us to filter and sort the channels in the list respectively. In this tutorial, we will filter the messaging channels out of many other channels that may be in the Stream application, of which the currently connected user is a member of. We also want to sort the channel based on the last message at property so that the channel with the most recent message will be at the top. Before we add these props, here's how the app works without them. I'm going to paste a new user here, new name, new image, new ID, and I'm going to create a new channel with a different ID, different name, using the currently logged-in user. On refreshing the browser, the new channel is created. However, we get an error. And from the console, we can see that all channels are returned, but the current user does not have access to them. That's because the currently logged-in user does not have access to the previous React Talk channel that we created before. Now let's apply these filters and sort the channel list component. Going back to the browser, you can see that everything works well. The channel list only shows the channels that this currently logged in user is a member of. There's also so much you can do with filters and sort, and you can check the documentation page to learn more about it. The React SDK has different style themes for different types of chat applications, but it is still very customizable if you want to build your own custom component. And there are three ways you can build your own custom component. First, you can overwrite the existing style sheet, and I'll leave a link to that style sheet in the video description. The second and third way is what we're going to be focusing on for the rest of the tutorial. The second way is you can pass your own custom component as props to some of the components in the React SDK. And the third way is you can use React context, like I mentioned earlier. The React SDK provides context for different parts of the chat application, like the chat itself and the active channel and the typing, like the user that is currently typing. You can also get context for that. And you can use this data from context to build your own custom component. And let's see how to do that using two examples. Some React components like channel list have props that allow you to provide your own custom component. For example, the preview prop, which allows you to customize how each channel is displayed in the list. Now let's create a custom channel preview. Function custom channel preview, and this is going to accept some props. The channel list component will pass some props to this component, and we're going to make use of two props, which is the channel and the set active channel. We'll be needing the messages array from the state object of the channel because we want to get the last message in that channel. And then for the UI, we're just going to return a button with some styling. And on clicking the button, we're going to set the active channel to be the channel that is currently being clicked on. And then we can pass this component to the preview prop of the channel list component. And in the UI, we can see the custom component. The advantage of building custom components this way is you don't have to build the whole channel list yourself. You can just change specific parts of the list that you are more concerned about. And for the second way of creating custom components, let's see how to create components using React context. We'll be building a custom channel header. In this custom components, we'll be using the chat context through the use chat context hook from the React SDK. From this hook, we'll get the channel object and we can get information from the data object. You can also get many other things like the number of channel members or the online status of members from this channel object. I'm just going to paste this simple UI, and this UI has the channel's image, that's if it exists, and then it also has the channel's name. And now we can come down here and replace the channel header with custom channel header. And now we can see our own custom header, which is built with the chat context. There is so much you can customize, from image attachments to channel list to message actions. The React SDK was made to be seamlessly customizable. We hope you have enjoyed this introduction to the Stream Chat React SDK. In this video, we have seen how to create a stream application, how to connect the user to the application, and how to build a chat application using the Stream React component. And we've also learned how to customize these components to suit our own design needs. Please check out the React tutorial and also explore our React documentation so you can see more things you can do with the React SDK. Like I said, I'll be leaving a link to that in the video description. Here are more examples you can explore built with the React SDK, from a social messenger app to a team application similar to Slack to a live stream gaming platform to a virtual event platform. There is literally so much you can do with our component. Lastly, go visit getstream.io if you want to build chat apps or feeds using our SDKs or our backend libraries. See you.